What is going on, everybody? Chris here, and we have a nice little route today through downtown Ann Arbor on the latest FSD 12.5.6. Now, I've had this for a bit, but we went to LA. I haven't really had a chance to test it downtown, so that's what we're doing today. So we'll go through some familiar spots, but I also added in, we're starting in a new spot. I always like to change it up, mix it up, make sure we're not getting any kind of bias, and I'm just doing the same roads so they get really good. We kind of try to start randomly. I did this road before, and we start out with some speed bumps. A lot of people have been asking about that. But you can see here, we go through downtown, and then this last little turn here, I'm going to add one in there. I'm going to try. But this last little turn here should be pretty difficult. That's my goal for that, and that's a crazy parking lot too. And then before we start driving, I didn't want to miss anything. So I wanted to go into the autopilot settings and show you some of the new things that we have here, because 12.5.6 changes up quite a bit. And I wanted to be clear about what's in here. So we used to have the chill, average, and assertive profiles. We now have chill, standard, and hurry. But if you watched my other highway video of 12.5.6, you'll know that it seems that these are not used in whenever you're off highway. These words will appear in the top left of the screen up here when you get on the highway, but when you're not on the highway, it doesn't say chill, standard, or hurry up here at all. So we'll leave it in standard just in case there's something going on in the background. But just so you know, I don't think that's really going to be a factor in today's drive. The other thing that's different is now we always have a max speed offset. So whereas before the auto max speed, FSD was basically picking its top speed. It couldn't go any more than that, but we didn't know what it was. You could be in a 35 and FSD could say, oh, my top speed's 50, but we couldn't see that. It was just a little dash up here. We now can kind of see what the max speed is going to be. We can set it. So if I don't want it to speed at all, I could keep this at 0%, but I'm going to keep it at 15% only because it doesn't mean the car is always going to go 15% over the speed limit. It means the fastest FSD can drive is 15% over the posted speed limit, but it's going to use its intelligence to kind of decide what speed below that max or up to that max is appropriate for the current situation, giving the cars driving around it how, near the streets are or all that information. So I still don't know what this toggle does. The expanded full self-driving visualization doesn't seem to do anything. I always have to seem to do this to pull it over manually. But either way, I wanted to be clear about all of that. So this is what we got for now. We still have no hands. We can wear sunglasses. And then if we go into the release notes, the other thing that I wanted to show you here before we started driving is we do have, if we go into FSD supervised, includes vision-based monitoring. We've had that for a while, for a couple updates now. Includes end-to-end on highway, which I showed in the previous video. Earlier and more natural lane change decisions are in here. So in a downtown area, there's not a whole lot of lanes to choose from. It's not like we're going to be on a bunch of, 3 or 5 lane roads or something, but that's something that's now included here. So we'll look out for that because lane changes did seem a little artificially suppressed before. And then the driver profiles and the auto, which is the chill, standard, and hurry. And then the auto speed has been updated to max speed. So you'll see that as we go into drive here. All right, so I've added my last thing I wanted to add here to get the difficult turn in. So this will get out of our way and we can get started here. So let's just put it into drive. And now I'm not sure if we have, I kind of just parked, I parked this in this situation. I kind of just put us where we fit. I don't know if FSD really has enough room to get out here. I believe it might, but if it could reverse, it would make things a lot more comfortable. But let's just start it up. Look at that, it did automatically give me my full visual. I have not seen that yet. I pretty much always, even though I have that checked, have to pull it over. So I'm glad that that happened. And yeah, the car is not going to go. So I'm going to give it an accelerator tap, but I'm not sure we have enough room here. I kind of did that on purpose to see if we would get a little reversing action, but we're not. So there's a car coming up. After this vehicle comes up, I'm going to give us a little tap. There's our little tap. Car does not want to go. One more tap here. The car does not want to go. So because we don't have a reverse ability, if you are too close to the vehicle in front, FSD will not start on its own. Let me just go back here. Now we clearly have enough room for FSD to pull out on its own. As soon as it's ready, I will click that. We do have a car coming up on our left here that FSD waits for. We get a nice turn signal and it does pull out of the spot. So if you have enough room, FSD will start your drive. So starting out here, I came back to this little neighborhood thing, kind of like, imagine a Robotaxi picking you up. You're at your house here, you want to go downtown or whatever. This is pretty much what you would see. So we do have speed bumps here, and there you go. We're slowing down to about 11. Very nice. So really good. We have a couple of more coming up, so we'll see if that's consistent or if that was a fluke. We do also have the lead car in front of us, but I think they're far enough away that FSD is, yeah, definitely making its own decision here on slowing down. We go down to 9 that time. Wow, very, very comfortable, very nice behavior on those speed bumps. So we'll have one more here. I actually could see going a little bit faster over these. They're pretty broad, but FSD wants to slow that much. There's also nothing wrong with that. So yeah, down to 10 on that one. So each one was different. We went down to 11, then we went down to 9, then we went down to 10. So just kind of dynamically slowing down for those speed bumps, which is really nice. Now, this is my first really video or like kind of challenging downtown drive I've done with FSD since being in LA and attending the Robotaxi event, sitting in the back seat of a Model Y with no driver, also sitting in the back seat of a Waymo with no driver. And for better or worse, it's given me a lot more kind of confidence and almost belief in this system. So let me skip this red light and I'll tell you more about that. Alrighty, there we go. We skipped 2 red lights for the price of 1. So a little bit of story time for you here. I hope that's all right, as FSD will drive us around. Wow, it feels weird being like directly in between these 2 buses. So the 2 like Robotaxi experiences I had in LA, of course, in the backseat of a Model Y and in a Waymo. Let's start with the Model Y. So that was actually in the same car I'm in now, but I was in the backseat. There was no driver. Supposedly that Model Y was running FSD version 13, which is supposed to be coming to us next month. Or this month, actually, within a couple of weeks. So we'll see if that actually happens. But the Tesla AI timelines, they've kind of nailed all of them. So we'll see if they continue doing that, which would be awesome. And the FSD, now in that situation, it was pretty easy, honestly. It was very slow. It was very congested, but it wasn't 100% controlled. I saw a lot of people saying that it was like a super closed course. And yep, it was not a public road. That's totally true. And it was something that Tesla kind of pre-mapped and got ready, you know, for who knows how long before that event happened. But at the same time, there were pedestrians walking all over the road. There were ATVs that were like people were driving the cyber quad, like kids thing, ATV all over the road next to the Robotaxis. There were other like Warner Brothers golf cart things driving around. There was a couple of cyber trucks that were driving around that, you know, by humans on the road with them. So it wasn't completely 100% controlled. There was, you know, things that FSD had to contend with. And all the FSD driving that I saw from the cars with nobody in the driver's seat, it did fantastic the entire time. So that was pretty cool. And then, you know, the other one I think that maybe even had a bigger impact on me, okay, let me hit this X, thank you, was the Waymo experience, which, you know, again, if you're in that geofenced area, it's pretty obvious Waymo is ahead of what FSD can do now since you don't need a driver. But the way it moved around the world and the way it, I mean, everything it did, the way it hit the brakes, the way it visualized things on the screen, the way it made turns, it all felt so similar to FSD. The main thing it did better was speed control, but even that was slightly robotic in the fact that the speed control on the Waymo was getting up to the speed limit, and like it would get directly to the speed limit like immediately, and then just sit right there, just like a robot, right? But see, like this pedestrian or that driver should have waited for these pedestrians. Hold on, I want to focus on this because Cybertruck screwed this up last time. I'm telling you, FSD is still better in the Model Y. I don't know exactly why or how that's the case, but it's pretty clear to me in all my driving so far. But so anyway, the Waymo was holding speed and kind of sticking with traffic better than FSD on rural roads because FSD is losing a lot of speed and Waymo wasn't kind of doing the same thing. But anyway, Waymo still had some little brakes, some little steering wheel wiggles, some like it would go to turn left, but it would first go right a little bit and then turn left and do all these different things. And maybe it had justifications for every little steering wheel wiggle that we saw in, you know, my one experience. But again, it was kind of like, man, if this thing did something weird that I didn't agree with, or maybe I thought could lead to a mistake or something in the Waymo, there's no way I could stop it anyway. I couldn't take over. I couldn't intervene. I'm just kind of stuck with it being weird or whatever it's doing. So I don't know. I say all that to say that my experiences in LA gave me a little more confidence for this system. Now, what they announced, very nice here, what Tesla kind of announced in regards to our vehicles that we own, and I don't know about hardware 3, hardware 4, there's still a lot of conversation around that. Why do you now mess this up? Reported. I'm just going to let it mess it up because We'll count it as a disengage. Whoa. Oh, right. I don't know if he predicted that green light or what, but he started to go and it's still red. We'll count that as a disengagement because it was in the wrong lane. So I'll put that on the chart as a disengagement. But anyway, the, oh man, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying here? Let me think for just a second. We're going to edit this real quick, and I'm going to cancel this. Cancel that turn signal so that it goes straight, which is obviously not an intervention because it was just following the nav. Do it. Go around. Yeah. Oh, we'll wait for that guy. Man, I'm not sure. Whew. You can do it. Just go all the way around. All right, that's good. That's very acceptable. Anyway, I say all that to say that, oh, okay. So I was talking about Tesla was saying that next year, 2025, which we're only 3 months away from, so it could be the end of next year, whatever, they're going to start unsupervised FSD with our cars, Model 3 and Model Y, and all the rest, I guess. You have enough room if you would have actually moved over, but I'll allow it. Unsupervised FSD in Texas and California. What is that? I don't know. I have a million thoughts about it. I think it's probably too much for me to keep because I know I'm rambling a little bit right now. I'm just kind of putting all my thoughts and experiences out there from this event. But it basically means unsupervised FSD is you'll be texting. Now, does that mean like you still have to have a driver in the driver's seat, but we'll let you text and stuff and but you know, listen for alerts in case the car does need help? That's probably what it would start as. But Tesla's aiming for next year to have unsupervised FSD in Texas and California. Is that going to happen? I would think in some type of way that will technically happen. But when we like expand on that thought and go into like, again, I've talked about this a million times, me in this vehicle right now that I own already, me in this vehicle, sitting in the back seat or sleeping in the back seat as it takes me to work, I still think it's so far off. Some of you absolutely hate that I think that way. Some of you think that that's an obvious thought. Everybody kind of disagrees in some capacity. So, you know, everybody agrees or disagrees like on some point in the spectrum of like, here comes, you know, FSD at any point. Man, this is feeling so good. Oh my gosh, everything about this. I'm just chatting to you and it's driving everywhere and I'm doubting it. But I don't know. I just, my thoughts are still, I'm super skeptical, but I'm more like willing to accept that we're going to be there than I ever have been, if that makes sense. So let's stick with this drive now. There's my thoughts on all that. Let me know in the comments what you think or agree with or disagree with. I do like reading those. Some of them, no, I like reading all of them. You guys are great. Yeah, wow, we're just going to get here with, you know, nothing. So I count that one as a disengagement because it was in the left turn lane and it went straight. It should have either turned left or gotten to the correct lane. But when you look at those type of mistakes, it's kind of like, you know, there's a valid argument to be like, who cares? You didn't get in anyone's way. It wasn't dangerous. We didn't cut anyone off or anything. But I still think, you know, it needs to get in the correct lanes as this person comes, you know, into my lane from the opposite side. So stopping here, very nicely waiting. We don't wait too long. We go as soon as it's clear here. Now I need to edit this trip, so it may try to park or something. But let's edit that. Hit done, and we'll see what the car does. I assume it's just going to continue here. Yeah, so it just very smoothly, even with that reroute, man, continues on. All right, let's let it go for a bit. It's feeling really good. I'll check in with you in a minute. So we got the green, but they also are allowed to walk. We'll wait for them to exit the street. Now it sees a pedestrian coming from the right, who she's also going to cross the street, and it waits for her, which is definitely the right move. And, you know, that's one of those cases I love, how the car is always looking in all directions, because while maybe I should be looking in my right blind spot onto a sidewalk while making a right turn, it's just not something that everybody always thinks to do. Whereas the car saw her coming from a great distance away and knew, like, I'm just going to wait for this pedestrian to cross the street. Really nice. So tiny bit trickier here. We'll make our 0 stop at the line, and then we'll creep up. But our right side is blocked from that parked vehicle. But FSD handles it perfectly. I don't know what you want. And then we're going to make a left turn here, have a few stop signs, and we'll go through. There was some construction up here, which is why I included this. I don't know if it'll still be there or not. So that pickup truck definitely got there before us. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. We'll wait, and then we'll continue. That person's not looking? Okay. She kind of freaked me out. I thought she was just going to start going. Technically it would have been fine, but she wasn't looking forward, and her wheels were rolling, so freaked me out just a little bit. And then, as we have these triple stop signs here, I will tell you about Drone Quote. It's free. Drone Quote is free. Use their totally free services. They've been channel sponsor for a while. If you're interested in solar at all, even thought about it, you need to check out their website, use the tools on their website before you even contact them. And then contact them and say like, yo, I'm interested in solar. They'll come out for free. Their licensed drone pilots will get you quotes from all your local solar installers, and they can save you big bucks on your electric bill, especially if you have an electric car. But, you know, some people are like, oh, solar's not for me. It's too expensive, blah, blah, blah. And that sometimes is true. Most people can, you know, eventually get ahead on solar. But if that's the case for you, if it's not worth it financially, Drone Quote will straight up tell you. They will do all of those calculations, and they'll be like, look, it's cool that you're considering this, but probably not a good idea right now. Check back in a year or two. So check out the link below for Drone Quote. Thanks for sponsoring this portion. And then not even part of the sponsored part, I do want to throw out there, when I first got my solar, I did not do it through Drone Quote. I had not heard of them before. I used a local installer. I didn't use Tesla, but I had that local installer out, and they gave me a quote, and, you know, I remember all the numbers and stuff, but I was like, whoa, this is too expensive, you know. And they're like, okay, like they didn't do anything about it. And I was like, yeah, like if you can get the prices down, whatever. Long story short, I said no, and I called them back a year later and redid all the math and stuff after. So actually our electric bill had gone up, and some things due to the local stuff. Just the local electric company changed the bill, changed the rates. And a year later, the solar payment and all that ended up being worth it for us. So I did go forward with it after that. But I don't know, a lot of people realize that I initially said no to solar after getting my first quote because it was too expensive. It didn't financially make sense for us, but the second time it did. So very nice stop for this. Man, this is so smooth. So Cybertruck is not this smooth, not even close. It does a lot of really impressive driving, but like this, I don't like to go too, you know, ham and all the like freaking out about how great this is. But it's really great. I try to just kind of stay balanced, show you the videos, show you the facts. You can make your own judgments. Although, you know, I tell you how it feels and stuff because you can't feel it through the video. This feels amazing. Amazing. It was in one lane wrong one time this drive. And other than that, everything has been perfect. And I'm not exaggerating that. All accelerations, all turns. Cybertruck's still stopping a little abruptly. It gets a little close to the vehicles in front sometimes, and the turns can be a little weird. I actually have a Cybertruck video I'm not sure I've posted yet. Man, I'm just rambling in this video, but whatever. This feels really good. This is pretty unbelievable. Well, that was a lot of people crossing the street. That's interesting. I'll take it. That's great. We're nice and slow rolling this, just kind of cautiously looking out for everybody. Really, really good. This is the version. Why does this not gone wider? 12.5.6 is him. This is crazy. So a pretty big delay on that green. I'm going to hit the report button there. I mean, you know, if you counted it, it was probably like 2 or 3 seconds, but enough of a delay that it was definitely weird. I'm sure the person turning left there was at least thinking like, are they going to go? At least for a second. Not the end of the world, but interesting to see nonetheless. Look at this. Complete stop, but still pulls forward despite the pedestrian in the crosswalk in the most perfect way. Watch it again. Watch it right here at this stop sign. We're going to do it 3 times in a row. We're going to hit 0 and 0. And we're going to go because it's our turn. Holy moly. Do you guys remember old stop signs, old 4-way stops from a long time ago? It was just miserable. And then they got pretty good, but it was still like a little too much kind of hesitation, but it was pretty good. Now, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, I need like 10,000 miles, but you know what? I'm calling it solved off of off of my little bit of experience. Wow. Wow, wow. All right, so we can turn right on red here, but we're waiting for a pedestrian. There's also lots of cars coming very quickly from the left. So creep up is good now that there's no pedestrians. We can go right now if FSD wants to. And there it goes. Okay, there it goes. That was, again, absolutely perfect. Waited way far back for the pedestrian. No pedestrians, let's creep up and look. No cars, now let's go. It's just right. It's just doing it right. All right, here we go. So this I put in here on purpose. It's difficult. We've got a pedestrian crossing, which this person's waiting for. It's almost a 180-degree turn that the FSD has to make. See if we can do it here. We're clear to go. Man, feels smooth, feels good. And then it immediately needs to get into here to turn left into the parking lot. Holy moly. Here's the stats. I don't know what to say. This is freaking good, y'all. I might be out of a job soon. No. I'll keep making videos when it's unsupervised. I'll just, talk about current events or some crap. You know what I'm saying? I'll be sitting in the back seat. It'll be great. So we'll let it go through this parking lot. Oh yeah, see all these cars up here? This parking lot's usually pretty hectic, which is another part of why I came in here. Hey, maybe I should do like an actually smart summon in this parking lot. I would never. I mean, I would, but I would not want to. It's so tight. There's just not, like Costco and the big stores like Sam's Club and stuff. That's one thing, but there's at least those parking lots are big. They're chaotic. There's a lot of people. This parking lot is also slightly chaotic, and there's like no room. So you can see we can't even drive. Whatever. If nothing, now this person wants to back out. I don't know if FSD cares or sees them. Oh, it's so awkward. All right, well, I don't want to waste your time. If nothing happens, that's it. If something happens, I'll put it in the video, but hope you enjoyed this one. You will see me in FSD in the next video. Oh, are you going to do it? Clearly he wants to get out. It does wait for him. All right. FSD is a little pushy. The other person got out behind us. All right, later.